All right, good afternoon, folks. We have got 4 here, so we have enough for a quorum. This is our call meeting for the first reading of the budget of the 24-25 budget. I'm going to hit the highlights real quick and then answer any of the questions as we start going through the budget. So after a lot of work and review of this 24-25 budget, I have put in a 9-cent property tax increase in this 24-25 budget. Now, if you recall, we was recommended strongly by MTAS, which is some of our advisors, that if we're not going up a nickel a year, you're kind of getting behind the 8 ball. With this increase, as we go down through this line item, or at least by department, you will see where the money is being used. So keep in mind, 9 cents to penny is a value of $9,590. That's what the penny actually brings in for the city of Livingston. Again, the penny is $9,590 is what the penny brings in. So, so with that said, and certainly you can do the math, $86,310 is what the property tax increase will bring in. So looking at the revenues there on page 1, you'll see the that property tax goes up to $1,818,910, or with the revenues, you'll see just a slight increase on the sales tax, as our sales tax kind of continues to hold its own. You can see where the revenues is for the general fund. Now keep in mind, this is only the general fund that we are talking about, which is totally different from our water and sewer funds and gas, but we'll get into that in just a minute. So so there's no significant changes in the revenues. You'll see the total revenues for the general fund equals $5,443,810. So if you flip over on page 2, 1 was the revenues. We'll go to page 2, and we will, you start talking about the expenditures and what comes out of the expenditures. So you'll see, and let me say this, in the general fund as well, the employees that are paid out of that, every employee with the city of Livingston will go to their next increase in pay according to the pay scale. That's every employee, whether it's general fund, water plant, sewer plant, water, police, fire, will go to the next rate now. So if you look at the expenditures on page 2, you can see the salaries and wages are up about $20,000, and most of that is for the salaries. So you can see the expenditures totals there at the City Hall general government budget, $266,000. The dues and donations that we participate in, of course, the Chamber of Commerce with $21,000, Tennessee Municipal League, Upper Cumberland Development District, and it goes on down, as you can see, what we give back to the community, totaling $60,412. Midway down the page on 2, you can see that the as we go on down, there's really not a lot of significant changes that stands out there in the total government, total general government of $1,052,000. Page 3, we go over and we start talking a little bit about public safety. And in the public safety, again, you can see the increase, $907,000 is what the amended budget was in 23, 24, 24, 25. We're looking at $995,000 in hourly wages. So again, all our police department will be getting an increase in pay. Also, Chief Smith asked for 2 squad cars, valuing at $60,000. He also asked for 2 more personnel on the police department. My numbers just didn't make it. Happen. It would have been an additional tax increase with the general fund. So you're talking additional $80,000. I did not approve that, but we did sit down and have a conversation. 2 squad cars at the amount of $60,000. As we go down to the fire department, you'll see an increase of salaries. Again, $428,000 goes to $508,000, and Chief Dow asked for raises, of course, for the fire department, ranging right at about $40,000 is what's budgeted. 1 new uncertified fireman at approximately at $40,000, so that we do have 1 uncertified fireman in there. Now, if you remember, we had a study with MTAS. MTAS wanted us to get up. I think the number was 12. Is that right, Ken? I want to say that number was 12. So we're inching to that. Again, the issue, and obviously everyone knows I'm gone on August 31st. But one of the areas that public safety is really going to have to focus on is a new building. A new police and fire department is going to have to happen, especially if we keep hiring more personnel. Right now, we are making do. The auxiliary building that we have got for the police department, if you remember, you authorized us to go and deal with Miss Patty Cole and her daughter Tasha. Thank you. And so that has served well, but it's a Band-Aid, folks. At the end of the day, it's a Band-Aid. You're looking at about $12 to $15 million on a new public safety building. So that's for the fire department. So you're looking on down at the bottom of page 3 to parks. Didn't ask for a whole lot. Of course, Michael Hayes, supervisor, going to get a new scoreboard valued at $8,000, and needing a new off-road utility equipment that has a little dump bed in the back where they can haul dirt and whatever the case is for the baseball fields. Going to page 4. So no changes at the airport. Just no changes other than more money for raises. Again, every employee will be getting that. Looking at your city streets, you can see the salaries went from $385 to $410. Again, that's because of the increase. The big expenditure, if you look down there, we have got the big number that is going to be standing out is $209,500. The number is so large, or the reason that it is so large, a long arm bush hog is what the street department is needing, and we have got quotes at $181,000 for that one single piece of equipment. That is equipment that we use to clear the city right-of-ways. Ours is very, very old. And on its last leg, according to the department and according to our mechanics. That is in the budget. So I've got that in the budget. In solid waste, as you're going down past the streets, no significant changes there. $111,000 is what we have went up to in salaries, but other than that, no significant changes. Going to the next page, our street aid fund, I'll let Joel will kind of go over that here in a minute. Same way for page 6 as well, which is the home rehab grant fund. If you remember, Amanda Maynard with Grassroots Planning did a home rehab program where it was a grant that paid for a couple of homes here for the citizens here in Livingston. So that's what that is. So basically the grant runs through our account, and that's kind of it. On with the drug fund, talking to Chief Ray Smith, there is a slight increase of a little bit there, 8,000 for some the new, hopefully, cases that will reward the city some money and fines and forfeits and fees. No real expenditures in the drug fund. The industrial fund on page 8. There's not any nothing going on. That is not changing over a couple of years. So. There's really no development fund. There's no business in there that has changed. Mr. Joel Parks to my right will go over the general debt services. Going to page 10, water and sewer funds. There no increase on any water funds. I think that we're in good shape, and most of the work, I think Greg Davenport will be in here, Gerald Wofford Engineering Company will be here in July to talk to us. But if you remember that American Plan Rescue Act, ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, we got a lot of money from that, and also the county didn't use theirs, and it gave it to us, so we will be we are the recipient of that, and so 95% of that, those grants are going to be paid for through the U.S. government. So if you remember, we're doing the zone meters out in the county to help with our water leakage. We are doing the automatic meter reading, AMR, automatic meter reading in the, in the some in Hillham, Monroe, Alpine area. That's where that's what our folks said where we needed it the most, and in that is also going to have some leak detection in there to go along with the zone metering. So they had a pre-construction meeting last week. I was out of town, but Vice Mayor Dotson sit in on that. So we should be kicking that off in about 30 days. Again, Mr. Davenport will be here to talk about that. So in the water and sewer funds, again, raises for all the employees in the water and sewer fund. So in the budget, we if you go down to the expenses, down to the let's see. Well, let me find it here. Well, this equipment, for some reason, mine's blank. Phyllis, is yours blank? No. Mine is. Is everybody else's? Page 10. Yeah. Page 10 down at the bottom, I don't know. I know it's supposed to be there, but I didn't see it.
132.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't use your ruler you gave me.
I know.
All right, it is $132,000 for that, and the number up above that, I was off, that is blank, but it's $132,000. And so we have the option of city employees, or depending on the demand, they have the option to get a new ditch witch that we need, or a new backhoe, but not both. So just remember that. They can have, in the budget, it's one or the other. I'm thinking we'll probably go with a ditch witch. All departments use a ditch witch. We think we're probably okay in the rubber tire backhoe and our track hose as well. But I went ahead and put the price in there for a backhoe, which is about $105,000. So along with that, he has asked for a jet vac that we would be using, and then inspection of our current water tanks. That'll be about $5,300. Jet vac's going to be about $3,000. So just keep that in mind, that we have that in the budget for either a ditch witch or rubber tire backhoe. Again, there is no water rate increase. You'll see down at the water plant, down toward the bottom of the page, so we normally budget $400,000. We went back down to $300,000 just simply for the repairs that have already been done. So we took $100,000 off the expenditure that we normally do, and for the ones that we have two 750 horsepower pumps that are pumping the water 19 miles to Livingston. So when one of those pumps comes down, so you could be spending anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000. We're talking getting cranes down at Butler's Landing, pulling it out of the intake and going from there. So that's why that number is so high, and it will remain. I don't anticipate that going any lower, but I think we're pretty stable there at $300,000. And hope we don't have to use it. So the water plant employees, of course, raises across the board there. He has asked for a hatch pit pH meter, $2,200. Some kind of filter for a 4-ton, $6,000. So just not really a lot, but I've got it in there what he's asked for, and that's Jack Parrott. So going to page 11, that just continues the expenses there, total expenses in the water and sewer fund, $5,227,700 for the water and sewer fund. So let me back up just a little bit. I have skipped the wastewater plant somehow. And I skip that out. sewer plant. So, again, the sewer plant, page 11, about a quarter down the page, you can see where the hourly wages has went up just a little bit. Nothing significant down there in the wish list. So understand that all the supervisors, about 6 weeks ago, I asked them to prepare me a wish list for their departments. And so they, again, it's a wish list. And I put it in the budget, and if the formula works, then those are granted after the fiscal year. If not, then they're not. I mean, it's really, and they know that kind of going in, so. But Danny Langford at the wastewater plant has asked for some exhaust fans, a couple of sinks, tankless toilet, shower kit with handles. Those are important because of the chemicals that they have, that you can pull a lever and shower yourself off, the chemicals off of you. Some bathroom flooring. You know, these buildings are kind of old. If you've not had a chance to go down there, please do. Some wall paint. So that's kind of what we have got down there. Replace some parts, but the total is for about estimated $14,000 for the total amount at the wastewater plant. Going to page 12. So natural gas is our natural gas. The revenues have went up just a little. There is a slight adjustment in the gas bills where we have not had an increase in natural gas since 2018. There is going to be just a little increase on how we figure that. The average home, what we have looked at, is going to be an additional $10 a month for their gas bill. So that is going to bring in a little extra money to the gas fund. Again, we have not had an increase since 2018. Gas department supervisor's wish list is 2 mechanical leak detectors at $6,840. Manual calibration kit at $1,172. Upgrade station number 1. This is the biggie. So if you go down there and you look under equipment, you can see we're up there about $130,000, up significant to what we done. Here's why. They're going to have to upgrade Station 1. Station 1, which is located right at the Overton-Putnam County line on Highway 42. That's going to be $120,000. We've put that off as much as we possibly can. There's where your increases came in just a little to help pay for Station 1 getting upgraded. That is the main line that comes to Livingston. So, according to Steve Jolly, this is something we can no longer put off. That's got to be done. So there's your increase there. And again, like I said, 2 mechanical leak detectors, $6,840. Manual calibration kit, $1,172, and then the upgrade station of number 1, $120,000. Okay. And Joel, I'm finished with my part. I'll be right back in a minute, but Joel, you've got something to go over with, so I'll turn it over to Joel. Does anybody have any questions?
I had just a couple.
Okay, let's do it.
On page 1, just about a quarter of the way down, the
Okay.
courthouse square, that big 480, is that just the grant for the improvements on the courthouse square? The 480 that wasn't a line item at all the previous year? You see where I'm talking about?
I'm getting there. Courthouse Square, got you. $480,000. If I'm not mistaken, Phyllis, that's just a grant that we get coming in.
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah, it's just a grant coming in.
I assumed that, but
Yeah.
and then my only other question.
I wish it wasn't, but I
Yeah.
wish that was additional.
On page 2,
All right.
halfway down, the payroll and employee insurance look like they've gone down significantly from last year. I was just wondering how that's possible. I'm tickled that it is, but
Okay.
Okay.
He will address that.
good deal.
Any others? All right. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Joel.
Okay, quickly, you'll notice that the 2023-24 budget or projected column is blank. It's never been blank before. We've got a lot of work to do this summer to get some good numbers in there. I'll be working on that quite a bit this summer and in the next week or so, actually. So that'll give us a good position, good information to understand. Okay, so just a couple of highlights right away on the one you're talking about. The new software has come in, and there's been some trouble with it. That's really impacting why we don't have the projected numbers yet. Part of that problem has been one of the problems from there is they changed, the people that put this software out have it in many, many counties and cities. So they want to do split the taxes per department, where traditionally in past years, we've always put it under the general government. So we're starting to split that up. So if you looked at line item, let's see, which line item was it?
It's on page 2, about halfway down under other general government, payroll tax and employee insurance.
Yes. Now each department has a payroll tax line. So that line item is reduced and only reflects the general government. So you'll see that line item under public safety, both fire and police. And then throughout the whole page is like, in fact, in water and sewer, it used to be under one line item, now it's under 3. Water department, then sewer and sanitation, or water department. The mayor has done a very good job explaining the budget. I guess I'm mostly here for questions. Well, I also want to go over the debt service. Those are all numbers that just come from the note requirements, bond requirements in the future. So you can see that you no longer have any more payments after this year for the park. That's going to free up $135,000 that was in last year's budget, and you've got the one payment for fiscal year 24 or 2025 that goes away. So that's going to be a pretty instrumental piece if you're looking to fund that public safety building. That's going to be a piece of it. What other kind of questions do you have?
Well, I'm sure you've had a hand in this budget for several years, and you probably know it backwards and forwards.
I do. I did a good review on it. He did a good job, and I just pointed out, oops, something was overlooked, and he said, "Oh gosh, you're right, it is overlooked." So we fixed a few things before we're coming in here earlier this afternoon.
I'm sure we had your blessing on it.
You do have my blessing, and I also have blessing on the tax increase of 9 cents. The money is pretty good, but every dollar has a name on it, and some things are just going to come up that you don't expect. Good.
So thank you, Joel, not to hammer down, but you've got in front of you there what the current tax rates, $1.71 going to $1.80. You can see the property value and the assessed value on how much that it goes up. In one of the columns there, 50,000, you're talking about $12, 13. I'm not going to read it all to you. You can see it right there in front of you. So but you have it in front of you. And if you don't have any questions, any further questions, we will be meeting on, that date has changed for the second reading. My apologies, it's my fault. On the 28th at 5. The 28th at 5. That's a Friday. Yeah, go ahead.
I also had a quick question. This may be ridiculous or silly. Why is it their tax rate carried out to 4 decimal places? Could we not just simplify that down and get it to?
I can't answer that, Ken. So when, of course, we come up with the tax rate, the tax assessor comes back with some numbers, exactly what the penny comes in. So we just use that formula, and that's it.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's real impressive the way it looks. It just doesn't seem necessary.
keep it simple, right?
Yeah, I
get
agree.
it.
We know exactly what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, so the second reading, Joel will go over the projected numbers and also the what? Budget amendments. Yeah, the budget amendments. So, but that's where we are. If there is no questions, we'll entertain a motion to pass this budget on the first reading.
Is this an open meeting?
Well, it's a called meeting, so no, it's not.
Motion to accept the budget.
Motion by Alderman Rex Dale. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Second by Alderman Bruce Elder. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Phyllis.
Alderman Elder,
Yes.
Alderman Dale,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dotson,
Yes.
Alderman Linder,
Yes.
motion passed.
Motion passed. Even though this is a called meeting, if you have a question, I will entertain that, but that's normally not what we do at a call meeting, but go ahead. You have a question?
Thank you. It's just that $90,000 that Vice Mayor Dotson brought up, that everything's going down. I would expect somewhere that some numbers are going bigger to make up for that.
Yeah,
Can you show me where at least one of those is? Where would I see that money coming back in?
I trip over that thing every
$90,000
time.
I'm talking about is in the center of page 2,
Right.
where it says, other general government, payroll tax goes from 166 to 90. So I'm looking for 70 grand someplace.
In essence, yes. So if you look on the next page, well, under fire department that's the first one I looked at. OASI, so there was no provision for that last year. So that's where we're picking up the expense. We're simply just moving the expense from a central category to more of a departmental-based budget line item.
So OASI.
On page 3,
Yes, OASI is the same.
that is federal tax, yes. And you'll see that hospital and health insurance also is split out by direct department now. You'll see that in the police department, street department.
Okay, so those numbers, it was a labeling issue because I didn't consider that to be the same.
Gotcha.
Very good, thank you very much.
Trying not to fall down.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know why it's that way tonight. All right, so we will meet again, public hearing, the budget will be put in the paper. That's normally, sir, when you have your questions, when we have a public hearing, then you bring your questions to the public hearing. But I went ahead and allowed you to speak, so I didn't want you to think I was just being rude and cutting you off, but there is a process, okay?
That's why we asked if it was.
I went ahead and did that. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. The budget is passed on the first reading. I will see you again, if not sooner, on June the 28th at 5 o'clock for the reading on the second budget. Also mark in your calendars, due to the 4th of July being on a Thursday, and we normally meet on a Monday. I know there's going to be vacations and folks off that week, so our city council regular meeting will be on July 8th. July 8th. Need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Vice Mayor Ken Dotson, second by Alderman Bruce Elder. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. We're adjourned.